Alright guys, so this is my 57 Dodge Royal. It's an American car. Thought I'd do another video. I've got one a while back, but I sort of just did a walk around. So thought I'd do a little progress update. I bought this car from the original owner in, he bought it new in Idaho, but he moved to Vernon, and well, he was about, I think he was 94, 95 when I bought it from him a couple of years ago. So it was repainted in the 80s, I believe, 82. It used to be red and white, so where the blue is used to be red. Anyways, it was repainted. Super original car. I mean, it was repainted and the interior was redone, so I guess I shouldn't say super original, but original sheet metal. Nothing was replaced. Underneath, the car is spotless. It's got the original 325 poly, which, as you can see, I have pulled the top end apart a little bit. Had a worn out rocker arm, so I thought it was a collapsed lifter. The push rod there with the white paint on it was moving up and down, probably an 1/8 inch, and I sort of just guessed it was the hydraulic lifter had failed, but when I pulled it apart, turned out it was the rocker arm. So you can see the end of this push rod. I don't know how well it's going to focus here. Kind of came to a point. Maybe it won't focus there. Need something better. Anyways, crappy camera. But supposed to be rounded off. I don't know how well you can see that. Anyways, and the rocker arm itself, it's sort of worn away inside. Anyways, so that's what I replaced. I've got a parts car in the back with, it's another 57 Dodge Royal with a 325 2-barrel. This one's a 4-barrel. So I sort of lucked out there. I did find this rocker arm assembly, this whole bank here, but looks like maybe Eggy's the only ones that I could find that was reconditioning old ones. They wanted mine as a core, and they're like 600 US per side. So I just thought, good thing I got that parts car back there. So super clean 325. Nice to see when I pulled the valley pan. Obviously it's been gone through. There's no way that's an original. You know, this thing's got 88,000 miles on it, so there's no way it would be that clean inside. And these heads too, right? So that's nice to see. Still got points. This car's actually got power brakes and power steering, which is, for a Dodge, was pretty high class in 57, I think. I've got 4 other Dodges 57 back there that they're all manual steering, manual brakes. So yeah, just gonna put that top end back together and pull it outside, and I'll continue this video. Okay, well that's all back together. That went pretty easy. That carburetor is pretty dirty, but it's the original. I do not have a rebuild kit, and oh, good luck finding one, so I didn't even bother opening that. But this thing still runs great. We drive it all the time in the nice weather. Still has points. Original carburetor from 57. It's got that pretty rare air cleaner. Still got to find a nice washer bag. It's supposed to hang over here on the fender, but those are usually crinkly. Yeah. I'm going to show you the parts car I got the rocker arm from. Out here in the back in my parts car section. So it's this guy here. This is a 57 Dodge Royal, just like the one in the shop, but I know it looks decent, at least in this view, but This side's a little banged up. It's hard to tell how bad this fender is, I think, in the video, but and it's been sort of stripped a little bit here and there. Full of those heater boxes that always snap, and a couple more air cleaners, and yeah, it's a good, at least for me, good parts car. That's the problem with this stuff, is it's so uncommon around here. It's not like I've got rust-free parts anywhere to just go grab. I mean, if you need parts, you just have to part one out. That's just the way it is. You choose the worst that you've got, and this one here, this is not a parts car. This is one I was picking away at. It's a 57 Custom Royal Lancer. This has, you know, the roof trim. It's got the extra trim here that my Royal doesn't have. Start with the Lancer there. Somebody at some point put 58 taillights on it, but they seem to suit it a bit. Yeah. Anyways, getting sidetracked here, looking at other stuff, but I'll do a little video on that one day, maybe. That's the parts car, the 325 2-barrel. So that bank there, I robbed the rocker arms and was able to get a good set out of it, or at least the one. Took the one with the push rod. Yeah, it's a nice one there. Not rotting into the ground. Alright, so the engine's back together, and thought I would just do another video on this car. I've got one on the channel that I just do a walk around. I don't really talk about it at all, so I think at that time I still had those chrome smoothies on there. So anyways, yeah, this car is a 57 Dodge Royal Lancer. Original 325 4-barrel. It's a Poly engine, not the Hemi. They called this, in 57, they called it the Super Red Ram because it's a 4-barrel. The 2-barrel carb 325s were a Red Ram, and if you had the Hemi, that was the D500. Previous years the Hemi was the Super Red Ram, but in 57 they changed it around a bit. So yeah, I bought this car from the original owner out in Vernon, but he bought it new in Idaho. And I had a 67 Barracuda 383 4-speed car, the yellow one. You guys have probably seen that on the channel, earlier videos. And this car popped up for sale actually on Facebook Marketplace of all things. And I mean, normally you'd see these some auction somewhere for crazy money, but this one was actually affordable, at least for me. So I sold the Barracuda. I had that car a long time. I sold that and I bought this, and I wouldn't change it for anything. This thing is so awesome to drive around. Everybody, I drive this thing into town just to go to the bank or to go get groceries, and everybody's always blown away when they see it out. A lot of people say they've never ever seen one in person, so it's pretty cool getting those reactions. But this car was painted in '82. It used to be red and white. The red, where the blue is now, that's where the red was. And the interior was redone at that time as well. And I'm assuming the engine, after opening it up, had been gone through as well, because those heads and that valley pan and everything was so clean in there. So it's still got the neutral start, so you hold neutral down to start it. You turn the key to turn the coil on, and then hold that middle neutral button down. The e-brake works fine. All the gauges in this thing work. It's got great oil pressure. Fuel gauge works. Radio doesn't work, but the antenna wires are just coiled up in the trunk for those dual antennas, so maybe it works, who knows. Yeah, map lights, all that stuff. Not the original interior, obviously, and probably not how it would have been. There's no cloth, I don't imagine, but nonetheless, somebody took their time on it, and I am not complaining. Usually everything I have has some kind of issue with the interior, so original or not, I don't really care. This car's got power steering, power brakes, taillights, everything on this thing is absolutely beautiful. And when I bought it, it had chrome smoothies on it. I've put those over on the Newport just for something else, but these original Lancer hubcaps were in the trunk, and they're in such nice shape. You know, some cars, you just got to put the hubcaps back on. Drives pretty good down the road, no major issues. I did put that Scarebird disc brake kit on the front. The original drums were pretty worn out. The trunks had some patches and whatnot, but it's pretty solid all in all when you're underneath. No real issues. You know, maybe the small 4-inch patch or something, but this car was probably driven, obviously, like they all were when they were new, so, you know. And the guy, the old guy, he added those teeth. It's not a custom Royal, it's just a Royal, so those wouldn't have been on there, but I think they look great on there. Let's see if I can easily open this. And there's the 325 4-barrel. That's the Super Red Ram. I've actually ordered the stickers. It looks like Herb's Parts carries those stickers, so they're actually pretty cheap. It's got the original air cleaner, which is super rare. The carb, I believe, is original, from what I can tell. I changed to an alternator. It had a generator on it, and when I drove it home, I think the bearing seized because it was smoking. We stopped to get gas, and the paint had actually melted right off. It got so hot. I think the bearing had seized. So when I got home, I tried to put another generator on it, and I tried a couple things, and it just wouldn't polarize. So I ended up just putting an alternator on it, and I have no reason to go back. It charges all the time. Still has points, single point distributor, not a dual. And there's that vacuum canister. I did put a dual master on it when I did the disc brake swap. There's the power steering reservoir. Yeah, as for a fairly original, other than, you know, a repaint and some interior work. This thing is one of my favorites. And I forgot to mention, I also swapped out the rear end. I didn't, you know, the guys that have these, you guys know, checking the rear brakes, anything like that, you got to use your hub puller and bang those tapered axles out, and just to check the brakes. So I ended up using 8 3/4 out of a 70 New Yorker that I've got in the backyard here, and the gears in this were actually 373s from the factory, but I put in a 323 just to bring my RPMs down on the highway a little bit. I don't love this thing screaming away at $3,000 just to keep highway speeds. And yeah. Speedometer works great. The red line sort of slides over as it's supposed to. Like I said, you can hear it stumbling just a little. I think it's probably just maybe to get out. Drive down the highway a few times. Yeah, right on. Thanks, guys.